Mode Gaming. Let's see if they can succeed here, if they can bring us into another map, or whether Morning Light are just going to take the clean series and declare themselves champions.
We'll see if somehow Mamba Mode can bring it back. I love this play to start things off, though. The aggression coming in from the defense, pushing down short. Problem is, it's going to be a B play. So they really need these players to step up. And you can see you've got one over here currently. The saves, the slow orb comes in. That is a really strange cyber cage you see coming out that allows him to spot the heads. You don't see that one played all that often. You might think it doesn't work out so well. No, it's really good if played rightly. And you can see how it punishes them initially as they have to fall back and they drop right into the trap of the players who push down short to begin with. Somehow the last remaining player is the Cypher. He's on A. They push short. He must have gone showers. He went this way, they went that way. Who's on first? What's is on second? You've got Critical now in spawn coming through. Full HP, has the flank potential here. But good luck, as there's a lot of targets on the other side. Great damage dealt currently, so the Cypher is going to be low. And it's just a free shot to the back of the skull of Miniature, but gives away his position.
It does that. You can see them turtle. They want nothing to do with this. They're going to condense around the spike. They're going to even drop a smoke to make his life as miserable as possible. This is just all going to be about timing. Where does the recon arrow go? Over this way. Just waiting to detect some sort of presence. Drop the recon arrow to provide something trade-off. And ultimately, ShotUp's not going to need anything of that. He's going to take the 3 kills. So here we go. Morning Light. They have seen the Morning Light. They have won a pistol. The thing that eluded them so desperately on Haven, they've now secured right off the bat. Provided they don't stumble over this next round force buy, we could see a very hot start for Morning Light. And that, to me, would be something that Mamba would be struggling to get back under control.
I don't love the fact that we're seeing a force buy come in from Mamba. In my opinion, this is a little bit premature, given that you didn't get a spike plant and you only got 2 kills. It feels a little bit foolish. Obviously, you know, these rounds didn't work. That's not to say it's the worst thing in the world. And you can see them already finding one and another trade going their direction, going back and forth. The volley goes. The Sage will go down. Maka's really in a tight spot. A bit of a misplay from Makka as he tries to go for the recon dart, decides not to fire it, but in the time he spends cycling between those 2 weapons, he ends up losing the battle. And they'll lose the sight as well. Smoke's going down. Cyber Cage is in as well from the Cypher. Miniature comes around the corner with the worst possible gun for the scenario. So as much as we may not have loved seeing this force buy come in from Mamba Mode, it's worked out really well for them. And it's fallen down onto Oderus' shoulders here as the Sage coming through all the way in spawn, and I think Oderus has no intentions of going for this one. He's just going to hang back and play an exit angle with that SMG.
I mean, there's the old saying of a good result doesn't justify a bad decision, but in this case, it certainly helps them out. That force buy, taking the first, having a round on the board, getting that spike to explode, evening it up, recovering from the pistol, it's a nice way to go. And because for Mamba, we saw that these early starts were so important for them, this now really gives them a better cushion. They're going to be bringing a couple of rifles into this one, a Bulldog as well, and then a couple of SMGs. On the other side, it's a counter force buy, so they are going right back to the well. Oderus just had the Spectre save. We're going to see a Marshal, a Vandal, a Phantom, and a Stinger. It's a virtual smorgasbord of guns. ShotUp even sacrificing any armor to break out that Phantom, so this is going to be a very interesting buy indeed.
You know, whoever said that clearly never watched a Rank S or FPL pug. Because...
What, a bad decision? A good result doesn't justify a bad decision?
Yeah, because
I think that was Steel.
That's basically just the accumulation of several bad decisions in a row. It's like so incredibly frustrating sometimes to watch. Critical has snuck onto the site, and he's got a target here. They heard him, so now he's trying to get away. It was a good move from the Phoenix to escape into the U-Haul. They'll surrender away orb control. Here comes the push onto this A site, though. They know there's 2 here, and ShotUp's in a bad position right now, so he tries to reposition, get into this corner of sight. But again, he's not armored right now, so he's got to be careful. Trip Smoke Execute comes out, so you can see them pushing potentially the defense back. But as I say that, Contii's here with the SMG, and it just starts to unload a hailstorm of bullets towards short. We'll see what they decide to do with the smokes. The smoke's going to come out. The wall's going to go down. The spike is going to get planted. Great damage dealt to Critical, who's currently on 4 HP. But they do have the heal available, so they'll at least be able to heal up one. It'll be the Brim who gets the heal, not the Cypher, who's down very low as well. It's a 3-on-4, but that fourth player basically barely alive.
One survivor at this point is just going to be the bailout, presumably. Get the heck out of Dodge here for Maka. No reason to stick around. Keep whatever gun you got. And it is a Vandal, so it's valuable going through, but it is going to be Mamba mode. Converting another end with very little cash saved through. Just Oderus with a little bit of extra scratch. You've got to imagine this next round is likely going to be a save around this Vandal. Please, don't force this again. Please, just get that operator right. They've got extra money on their operator player as well. So Oderus should save up the big gun, get those rifles. We know how important they were to Morning Light. We're seeing a little bit of investment, but nothing substantial here. It's a bit more than I'd like, to be honest, especially on Contii.
Yeah.
It's not awful. Actually, miniature. Oof. Sell the sheriff, man.
Yeah. This is like why I made kind of an awkward moan. I'm just looking at this buy. I'm just going like, God, come on, man. Like, don't
Just
get
why?
stuck in this trap. You know, it's like a gambler who, once you get deep enough in the hole, you just feel the need to get out of it. You're like, oh, I'm gonna win my next big hand in the next hand. Like, I'm gonna get the next big one soon. Yeah, and like, it's just a trap that you end up finding yourselves in. You see too many teams do this. Aldrone's gonna go through the port. Shot was in a close position with the shorty. Has to go around the corner. As the Aldrone comes up short, would have given away his position, would have ruined the entire plan that he had laid out. Now mAKKALOFF has to be careful, so Maka's going to just send some shock darts down. That's great damage coming out from the shock darts, but the site's been lost. They've got the smoke and the sage wall down. This is a standard A-side execute coming in from MMG.
It really is. Very straightforward. Now they got Cyber Cage to patch the whole wall. They got, okay, Shot Up, getting it down with the shorty. Now things get a little bit more interesting. Shot Up still has a chance to make some noise as well. He's going for the flash clear now. U-Haul realizing no one's there. They're all completely pushed back. This slow orb is big to deny some space, but the wall's going to go up. They can start to stick this. Spam angle should be lined up here, and zecK actually does get the first. There's the protect as well. No one's here to spike. It's all over. An ult ended. Infamous, that's overkill, but hey, it works out. They get the round. That's what matters at the end of the day. We're going to see another situation, it seems, where you're going to have an early lead for Mamba. Now, admittedly, this did not save them in the last map, but hey, got to get started somehow, and on your own map pick, going up multiple rounds despite losing the pistol, that's a phenomenal result. Here's the op, though. Here's the op, here's the weaponry. They've got armor as well. I wonder if there's some utility limitations for them, but at least from what we can see, there's nothing obvious. They've also got 2 ults, which is critical.
So that's one of those times when I look at the ping system and I go, oh, you know, I kind of wonder how that would play out. Because you have the flame wall going up, and obviously 1 or 2 players died before the flame wall really made a difference on the spike. I love this play coming out. We'll talk about that in just a second. The flash comes through. If the Shot Up pops the ult to go through the port, run it back, we'll send it back to the B site. But it's a 2-player advantage really early on in the round here for the likes of Morning Light. Now, talking about the ping system, he went for the flame wall so they could get on the site. The problem is you can just ping the spike, so you can literally just spam that general area. Yeah. I get why it's there, but at the same point in time, I look at that and I go, imagine those scenarios in Counter-Strike where you had those smoke diffuses that have happened in the past. Those wouldn't exist if that system was in place in CS.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is it's more for the matchmaking experience of taking teammates who don't communicate and giving them some way to communicate. But the reality is, to play a game like this properly, you need to have a mic, you need to be communicating. If you're not communicating, it's going to be miserable regardless. Ping systems are great to a degree. All you need to do is take it off of the physical space and put it on the minimap. Ping the minimap to your heart's content, but don't make it show up in their physical visor. But as it happens right now, this take is being dismantled. That's a flash that gets done, but Critical has the lineup. The problem is Critical doesn't have the adjustment to the second. And now it's all going to be on Infamous, who's just going to be sprinting towards the site to try and get a spike plant. But with Oderus watching it, you cannot imagine. And pluck from the sky. He does go down. Nice flick from young Oderus.
Oderus with a nice shot on the operator. We wanted to see him wake up a little bit in that first map because the truth is, mAKKA was the one who was doing the damage with the op. ShotUp started to pick up his performance in the tail end of the game with the rifle, but Oderus, for the most part, was a little bit quiet, which was a bit disappointing for him. Again, you know, this is like that awkward state that the game is in when you're newer to the game. You might gravitate towards, say, Sage or Brim, but then over time you'll start to feel more comfortable with other agents. We saw that early on in the beta with players like Wardell, who played the Sage, and now he plays the Sova and the Jett, and it is like taking his gameplay to the next level, because a bad agent can definitely make a good player worse. And that's not to say Sage is a bad agent, it just doesn't match the skill set coming in. Trades going back and forth in both directions. Miniature up on top of Tunican, able to get 2. There's the flame wall coming out from ShotUp. He's going to spot a target on the other side, but Sage just walks right on through those flames, and he's not concerned at all. The heal's going to come through as well from the Sage, despite the fact that this man's got his own. He's going to pop the run it back as well from the default position. Wants to push through the ice. He's got the curveball, but it's not even needed towards one. There's one to his left, so at least look at that intel on the mAKKA. But it's a 1-on-3, and it's going to be a difficult one to win. There's the wide swing, and you expect a trade peek there from zecK. So as much as it was great to see a round come in from Morning Light, they fumble away the round that follows right after.
Now here's where we're starting to get back into that sunk cost fallacy a little bit. We're seeing some investment. Miniature pulls out the Guardian, the newly cheapened Guardian. He's still gonna have 1800, so should be all right. We're seeing a little bit of investment. Obviously, if they can break one of these partial buy rounds, phenomenal. And they are doing a good job of at least limiting the utility and the economy of Mamba going down the stretch. But I have yet to, in this map, see the result really justifying the amount of investment that's going through here. This time, Oderus is just going for the orb, throws the wall up to get it. I believe he got it, but at the cost of the life. Immediately, the wall does go down, so a little extra point towards the ult, and based on the fact that he's now got said ult, he definitely did succeed. That'll be useful into the next round. For this round, he's taking a backseat. Contii next to follow him onto the bench, and it seems like a lot of them might be riding the pine here. That spike should be going down shortly. ShotUp joining the bench riders. A little bit of damage with the shock arrows. A little bit of something, but okay, I was gonna say there's no chance they're gonna get anything sustained here. mAKKA does get the one shot, but Miniature with the Guardian might as well just save this. I don't know that he's necessarily gonna want a Guardian to play into the next round, but I think his likelihood of doing any damage with it is minimal at best.
Miniature, he's got that Guardian, and he's just laying back right now, waiting for the peek to come through. Thought he caught a glimpse of something over towards the door. Starts to peer his focus towards that direction. So again, we're talking about this, like, you talk about the sunk cost fallacy, just continuing to spend money. Just thinking like, oh, we've given up too many rounds, we can't do this anymore. Oh, we force bought the last time. Oh, our money's not going to be that great the next time. Oh, we can't give them up another round. Problem that we see, unfortunately, like a snowball downhill. It starts to become worse and worse as the game progresses, so you hope that Morning Light won't continue to make that mistake, especially if we switch over to the second half and they're already at the deficit, which is seeming likely currently. Oderus again is going to go down to the operator and go for that big purchase, the op coming out for him, but not for mAKKA, which is kind of interesting to me because, again, he looked really good with the op on that first map.
He did, and I'm curious to see it as well. We see it's a very much a different philosophy here about deployment of the operator from what we've seen from Mamba mode previously. They really like that op holding over towards APC, making the plays on the site. This time it's Oderus getting aggressive out hookah, and he catches Wedid. He catches him so effectively. Wedid wanted to punish off the recon dart, and all he finds is death. So nice early pick. Miniature, just playing the angles. I don't think the Cypher had spotted anything at that point. A tripwire catches the player slightly later in, but that one I think was just a little bit fortunate here, but a nice connection. But I think maybe a wee bit of damage on Infamous coming off of that ultimate. Not sure if that was the tag through from the Guardian instead, but whatever it is. I was gonna say they're up 2. Now just 1, as Miniature does falter, but still the man advantage. mAKKA wants to play tight around the APC. If that wall goes up, he's gonna try and punish before it actually does bloom. And here's the plant with the spike. They were just trying to do that out in the open. The wall wasn't an option since the player was dead, but a cyber cage that hasn't triggered yet is a little bit bullish. mAKKA might get caught off by this U-Haul player. Indeed, he does. Yeah. War of attrition in this situation does favor them. Not so much when Oderus dies. And Critical now bails out through the teleporter. This is a good play. This is going to allow them spike plant for sure with enough time to spare. They'll be able to set up in a bit of a post plant. You are going to be having that brimstone coming through on Contii. But the spam of the tuna can does not net results that they were hoping for, and now he's locked out by the hot hands. Meanwhile, his teammate comes into the rotate, so they're going to play together. Shot up and Contii. See if they can do this. They got mollies between them. They're going to be bringing in the run it back. Here's the swing, but they're just going to back out. They don't want to deal with this. They don't want to deal with this fight whatsoever. He's now been tagged. Shouldn't go with him through the ult. But meanwhile, they've been wrapped upon, so Chase has found where he's headed back to. That means a 1v2 and critical with the last laugh to secure the round 6-2 now. This is starting to look very dangerous indeed for Morning Light.
This is not a good start. This is what we were saying they needed to not do. They needed to get off to a stronger start. They needed to not do what they did in the last map. And like the money right now, it's just been this awkward situation for the entirety of the half.
I need this.
You see the op in play here for Wedid, but you've got sheriffs and a guardian and stingers and this light equipment. Realistically speaking, a bouncing recon dart lands in sight. It's not going to land on long. Where you've got Miniature playing aggressively right now, with possibly the worst recipe playing aggressively. Great first shot, but that decreased fire rate after the most recent patch is not going to really help you out too much in that position. Nice peek coming out from the Sage, timed well. Infamous caught off guard by that one. A weapon upgrade potentially, just kidding. They're holding it. Critical is waiting around the corner, so Oderus went for the wall to try to grab the rifle. There's the neural theft being popped. There's a peek coming out from Contii, who's still in hookah. They're going to spot out these players on the site. You see Chase now going for it. Nice dink shot actually coming out from the SMG onto Chase, and his crosshair flying for a moment. But again, it will fall down onto a numbers disadvantage here for Morning Light, with the Phoenix now rotating over. MAKKA stuck back site right now with just a Sheriff.
It is kind of absurd how effective that Stinger can sometimes be at range. Nice shot from MAKKA. The Sheriff a little better for it. They know that Chase is back here because they've seen it previously, and there's going to be the pop. He's trying to race to catch him as he comes out of the ult, but there's the curveball to blind him instead, and now MAKKA, with just 42 health, is just trying to chase one more kill. It's a 1v2. This is possible with the Sheriff. With the low HP, it's going to be such a challenge. They're trying to ping where these likely players are to be. Can MAKKA read this? He's going around. He's got the recon arrow as well to distract focus. If they shoot that now confirms that there's a player on his left. He knows where they both are. What can he do with that knowledge? He just wants the peek. He's trying to bait the peek from the left player to go straight. But they hold, and ultimately Chase does have it. Nicely played. A 4K for him in a 7th round now, as they will at the very least be winning this half. And they're set up so well as well. They've got cash aplenty here, Mark. They're going to be able to buy down the stretch for these next few rounds to try and get up towards 8. It's more. I mean, this is starting to look like a very strong first half on Fox.
It's a really well-played 1v2, even though he loses. He played that really well with the Sheriff there, understanding he's got a player on his left, on his right. He's trying to bait them into a 1v1 peek. So he's trying to bait the player in sight out, because he knew if he swung to the right, that was when he was going to get swung on from the player in sight. So he's trying to bait that guy out in sight, and he just couldn't get him to do it. So even though he played that well, he doesn't really have the firepower for the scenario. He needed a mistake to be made, and that's not what happened. Mamba mode playing right now really well. Morning Light, at times, not so much. They are certainly struggling. There's the double shock dart towards U-Haul. You can hear both shock darts land, but no one's in that position, so no damage dealt currently. You're going to see the Aldrone leading onto the site, taken out almost immediately. They do have the orbital strike, so it's possible they could use that at some point on this site take, but it does look like they're just going to be moving in closer. There's the curveball coming out from Shot Up, a deep molly into site, kind of weird as it just lands in the middle of nowhere. Contii's going to spot one, but no, never mind. Critical comes through the smoke and somehow gets the best of him. Now that will be a trade coming in as MAKKA gets the follow-up, but they've managed to lose site control, at least for the time being. Shot Up with some crisp shots onto Chase to bring things down to a 4-on-2, but they haven't gotten the spike down yet because the spike isn't even here. It's actually over on the B site. You can see the quick rebound on the crosshair there from Shot Up in case he's sitting inside the port. Not to be the case. Wedid was knife out walking towards spawn, and Miniature's just holding this line of sight. Neural Theft's going to give away the last player. They already heard the port anyway. Morning Light find their 3rd round here in this first half.
Yeah.
Desperately seeking to get to number 5 so they can at least make it a manageable first half.
But what a way to win that. third round, right? You win it with 4 guns alive. Now you're at least going to have a fighting chance in these last 2. At least give yourself an opportunity to get towards that 5 and to make this a respectable half. And even if they get to the 4, it gives you the comfort of being able to play around the pistol round without just having, you know, one investment to run it entirely back. You've got one cushion if you do lose that pistol. Still, tough. Not a situation you want to be in. As you said, that 5th round is so important to speak here in the first half. Recon Air are going to go over, give them some information. Wedid trying to take some space here. Contii with some deep control behind his smoke. Playing to secure showers here. And on the other side, it is going to be critical. A second re-smoke in, so critical throws him in his tracks. Wedid going for the ult. That looks like it's dead on. Finding a lot of damage on Miniature, but Miniature actually managed to get a shot off and survive. Well played here. Now out of the teleporter, Shot Up has now secured their flank. They've got no easy quarter. You can't back off here. The Hookah player has to be focused in. And in the meantime, the spike is down in Hookah. So eventually going to need to retrieve that and make its way in towards the site proper. There's still a cam up for Miniature. They haven't found his cam yet. This is huge. Shot Up eventually makes his move. That's the spike secured. This round may just be over. These 2 players are caught in a crossfire. Players surrounding them and no ability to get this spike down to the dirt. It's a massacre, and ultimately it's a flawless round for Morning Light. They played that to perfection, and I really do want to highlight Miniature's play. First of all, to survive the Hunter's Fury, to get a pick while he was being fired on by the Hunter's Fury, to then keep his camera up as they move into sight, and to not give them the fight they so desperately crave so that they maintain numbers and just keep them completely cordoned off. That was a great round.
Solid round indeed. Morning Light, we talked about it. They just needed to cap off this first half so badly with a few wins. Take it to that 7-5. Don't get the 8-4 first half, but at the same point in time, what was the first half score for Mamba Mode when they played on Bind against ASMR? It was 8-4. And they watched that game turn the other direction. I love the ult coming out from Shot Up, and he actually manages to somehow get that second, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, there's a lot of targets around the corner. A deep hot hands coming out here as they try to make their push onto the site. Shot Up is in position. And there's the shot over top of the wall by Miniature. It's all down to 1. It's the Cypher, and he is far away from this play. Also spotted by the recon dart, so they know he's coming up short. Double cyber cage to try and get out. Good luck. You know, it's not really going to work out so well for him. So we do get number 5 on the board here for Morning Light in this first half, which is solid.
You will not kill my allies.
Chasing your teammates, just running all the ults now. You had the defuse on. Nice little celebration there. It's amazing, actually, that they had that many ults late into the round and they still had such a strong round. It's a great recovery for Morning Light. As you said, getting to 5, it's critical. Obviously, this is still a great first half for Mamba, but we've seen them fumble it previously. We have seen this get back and fall away from them. Shot Up, finger painting. Knife painting, I guess, here by the spice cart. What spices are that color? It's a real question here.
I don't know. The grape
What would you
spice they
sell
use
in
to
a
make
market?
grape lollipops.
There you go. They're just selling artificial grape flavoring.
Why is it like sometimes I look at that and I'm like, most of the grapes I eat are red or green. They're not like this real deep like purple color.
Yeah.
I always wondered that one. I was like, who was like, hey, you know what color grape needs to be? Purple.
I think it's because grape juice is purple, and wine tends to be that more.
Well, you do have like
purple.
some grapes that are that color. So I get it, but yeah. Look at this play from the shotgun around the corner. Critical somehow converts on 2. That's a problem. There is a quick trade that comes out for them, but not exactly ideal as they take that push onto the site. Oh, that's awkward inside the smoke, but there's a self-heal as the hot hands was down. Shot Up is stuck in a position. He has to fight his way out of it. He's inside the tuna can. Eventually, Wedid comes up with the conversion. There's going to be one more, but it's Contii who goes huge. He's over towards elbow, but the fight only lasts so long. Mamba Mode win a pistol, and we don't have a scoreboard.
What's a scoreboard? How do those even work? Still, this is a big round win for Mamba. As we said, look, winning the pistols has been critical to their success. In the last round, they didn't win the pistol, but they won the second round of force. But, as we've seen, the hot starts are important to them. And, as we saw previously on Bind, no matter how big the lead is, There's always the possibility to fumble. So the more they can get now, the more they can bank away like a squirrel storing nuts for the winter, the better. Because that winter may just be long and dark as the comeback happens, and you make sure they're going to be able to eat and take us maybe to a map 3 in this series. Technically a map 4.
My camera is destroyed.
Map advantage.
Oh, Critical's running. He's running so far.
Grab the
Critical's
judge. He's
third.
got one. zecK on the trade. This actually comes out pretty decently. Look, 2 for 3 considering the round. If they get the spike plant now, which they are indeed going to do, no one can deny this. This is a fine round for Morning Light already. Considering their investment was minimal, I don't mind this at all. If they can get another kill, great. And there we go. There's the kill found. Potentially
was positioned. Like, what is that round?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. I think that's a really disappointing round for Mamba. Only one survives. The player survives as a Spectre. You're taking almost no money through. You allow a spike plant. You allow that much damage in. Big concern now in the third round of a half.
And that was just weird. The fast push, the judge playing close, the double wall on site. They ended up converting on far more kills than you would anticipate,
They're not gonna get
given that scenario. It was great sight control coming out from Morning Light, though. I mean, the fact that they managed to make that work. Here's something we saw a lot of in the first half. Shot Up did this pretty consistently. It's something you'll see from pretty much every Phoenix player. They'll go for the run it back, push through the portal with the hot hands to lead the way. And there's the ult right on top of the position he was in. zecK, though, takes enough damage in the one-on-one that the ult will finish him off. Shot Up sees the one-way Cyber Cage down, so he's looking for somebody on the other side. They hear the port as well behind them. The Brim has gone through. Yikes. Shot Up against the Bulldog, of all things. Not able to survive that. Now there's one inside the portal. There's shot darts going down. They're looking for him. He's low on HP, but he's got the Bucky, so if they push up too far and those doors open, he's going to do some significant damage.
I think he's just trying to track the player through wall at this point. Or expecting that a flash might come through the TP and then be a chase in. There's a couple things he could be doing, but still, I think he had the awareness, heard the footsteps of the player out towards A short, so he's got that info. You can see he's drawn the full rotation. This is a big mistake, potentially. Chase is going to come back to it, but he's late. He's late in. They're going to be out long. They're going to be out the hexagon. They have a lot of space here, or octagon, as you do call it, however many sides it does have. Gonna have that spike down, presumably, but Chase may have just actually found the timing to slip back through. Is somebody watching this angle? But they're planting inside the tunic cannon, so that's alright. Shock dart doesn't land. Now the retake is on, but at the very least they have gotten this plant. Can they get anything more? Miniature takes 1, Miniature takes 2. Miniature looking for the big clutch, but Wedid with the blindside shot. The Stinger up close has him, and an upgrade will be there despite the low HP. At the end of the day, the Brimstone does survive. Infamous lasting through that round, and it is double digits now for Mamba mode.
Well, Morning Light may have won the first map, and they may have had the one map advantage coming into this series. But it's not looking so hot for them now in map number 3. We were ready to count this one over. We were ready to say, you know what, Morning Light, they took that second map. They've got the 2-0. They need to win one more to close things out. Now, I mean, it's looking like Morning Light might succumb to Mamba mode in this third map, technical third map. It's really the second, but obviously given the scoreline, that's how you get to that point. Orb control coming in for the defense, as you saw Infamous push up and grab the orb in showers. There's the challenge from Shot Up. Great damage being dealt. Drops him down to 7 HP. Contii's just going to keep on moving forward, spam through the smoke. And there's Miniature as well chiming in with the Guardian of all things. They've managed to get onto the site. They have to deal with Critical, who's still in hookah, and
I know
this could be
exactly
bad.
where.
There's the neural theft.
know
That'll give away his position. And now he knows where he's at, and he's going to be running out of that position because the shotgun's not going to help him out too much.
Oh, this could get very risky indeed. It's so tough to fight that with a judge, but they got to be wary of the pincer. And meanwhile, the spike has to come all the way back around in the hands of Contii. He's got a long journey. A lot of sight lines to travel across in Seed 2, and he doesn't have any smokes left to cover them off. Seems like he wants to make the play on towards A, maybe through the TP to pinch this player in hookah. And that doesn't make a lot of sense, but as soon as he does, that rotation's going to be on, and they should know about it. Oh, he's going to go U-Haul instead. These are two very individual plays. You got the player on B trying to distract focus, and you've got Contii trying to back through CT spawn. But Chase reads it. Chase is patient. Chase just waits for that push through U-Haul, and at this point, it may just be all over. Oderus has 15 seconds to try and make this work, and if they just don't fight him, he's done.
Oderus in spawn with a rifle. What can you do? An 11th round coming in from Mamba mode. Despite the early success they were able to find to get themselves onto the site, the early duels going their direction. The defense wins another one. Looking like a bit of a blowout right now for Mamba mode. Now, I didn't see the upper final so much. I only caught the tail end of it. I'm curious how that one broke down. Map by map, score by score, round by round. Because I would assume they played blind in that series, given the fact that people pretty much hate Split in North America, and Ascent is right behind it as far as the suck train goes. So I would have assumed we would have saw Haven and Bind to start things off in that series. Probably Split as the decider. I honestly don't want to speak out of turn because I didn't see it, but that is my assumption. But I would love to know how things went that first time around, whether or not it was such a single-sided game if they played Bind.
They're rattling off those shots. Bit of an intimidation factor there. We're going to have the Drone Owl finding a little bit of information here, but might run out of gas just at the wrong moment. Doesn't reveal shot up spot. We do have the Odin back on the scene, so Infamous is feeling comfortable with that massive gun. We don't yet have the off, though, for Wedid. We do not, and that is a big missing key in their arsenal. Shoots down to 57, needs to reload. Gotta make sure you have those 400 bullets when the hit actually comes through. Here comes said hit, as we were talking about. Chase catches them off guard. That's a pretty common angle, but it was not read at all. Nobody checking for it. He gets moved to the price of one as a result of it. Ult will come through, but they're going to be down the sight. Could be so dangerous. He doesn't realize they've gotten past the default, but they line up for him. He gets 2. Oh no! Big mistakes for Morning Light, and that's match point. The night has fallen. It's now morning. It's evening at this point, and Mamba mode, they are here on the prowl.
Mamba mode. Swinging back after losing that first map. We've got ourselves at an interesting point. I love the tripwire you're seeing from Critical there over on long. I love those kinds of tripwires. They're just kind of glued to the ground a little bit. They find a bump here, a bump there, and they stitch across. You'll never anticipate a tripwire in that spot. There's the shock dart coming out right off the bat. Cameras there. zecK's going to go for the peek. They ult and go through mid for it this time. So now they're going to catch them off guard. There's the neural depth coming at as well for the defense. mAKKA with a nice response at least to take out zecK.
Cage triggered.
So it brings us to a 4-on-4. They've got the Sage still in play for the attack side. The defense doesn't, so that's why you see that res come through from Oderus onto Shot Up. You've also got the capability of a heal towards the Sova, potentially. They're going to stay towards this B site. I don't love that because the rest of the defense is here. All 4 players currently for Mamba mode are here. Look at how they're stacked up. There's 2 towards spawn right next to the Phoenix. They're all just forming this line of attack. There's only one really playing close. It's the Cypher who's stuck in the corner right now using the cam to check to see if anyone's coming through. And they're not falling off. They are sticking to this B site. They're not assuming it's a rotate out. They're going to continue to play defense here. That first shot comes through. Cybercade's coming out. Curveball around the corner. Shot up with a nice shot coming out from the Guardian. There's the ult being popped as well. That's the Hunter's Fury coming out. Hunter's Fury from the other side as we did find more success with it. The first pulse is on the money. Second pulse not there as the spike goes down. Miniature chimes in with 1 onto Infamous, so that's the Odin player taken out of the round. And that's a 5-on-2 for Morning Light. The last 2, the Phoenix and the Sova, likely taken out of the play. They're currently on the site looking to do some damage as they want to take guns away from these guys, as they know the money is not super great coming in for Morning Light.
Oh no. Did you see the Bogdan's Law come into the back line there? But it's the clutch here. Contii has the first, he has the second as well. Realize the player's close, dodges the operator shot and has it as a result. 6-12. They're not out of this just yet. Morning Light just peeking over the horizon here. They need 6 more rounds, though. 6 more rounds to take this to overtime, and that is a desperate situation to be in. No mistakes can be made. They have to be flawless, and certainly if you're Mamba, this can't happen twice, right, Mark? You can't let up on this twice and bring it back to overtime. Last time, they didn't even get map point. Their opponents got map point. They were up 11-6, I want to say. Actually, I think 11-5, and then their opponents ran 7 rounds in a row to get map point. Can't have that happen again. Cannot make that same mistake. It would actually be 7 rounds in a row again. So, Mamba mode. Just need 1 here. This time they're on their more preferred side. They're on the defensive side. It's much more comfortable for them. At least it was on that map. So hopefully we will see a quicker result here.
I do like the fact that Morning Light's playing this one a little bit slow. You'll see this a lot at the end of games. When it starts to get close, teams play real careful. Morning Light do not want to give away an early advantage, an early pick. They don't have the res right now, but they do have the orbital strike. The other side does have the res, so their Sage going to have the ability to bring somebody back into play. Wedid still has the op, and he's peeking right now towards Showers. Right now, they're kind of moving away from that area. They don't want to go here. They've got zecK over on long. That's the Sage we were talking about. Critical's on site, also with an op. He's currently watching this angle. It's one that players will commonly peek. We'll see what they decide to do. You can see the smoke's currently being sent out by Contii. He's got the iPad out. Here comes the peek. It's not where it needs to be. There's the ult getting sent out. It flushes him into position. Nice quick shot coming out from Critical. Almost had a chance for a follow-up. I believe he did actually connect with a leg shot, but they don't clear long. Spike carrier taken down. zecK with a huge double. mAKKALOFF tries to do what he can, but Maka just can't fight out of that scenario. Mamba mode. They're going to fight their way back into the series by picking up this next map, the second map, but technically the third, as they will find themselves at a 2-1.